Good morning, everybody. Wanted to take you on a day in the life journey of what it is actually like to be an entrepreneur, to invest in businesses and startups, and what that looks like and feels like. And those start with early mornings at the airport. Hope you guys like this day in the life tour. Hey guys, what you see behind me is a day in the life of an actual entrepreneur. So much of what we see on social media is manufactured. You know, I say all the time, when was the last time you saw somebody with dirty dishes in their sink on Instagram? Almost never. And so what I want to make sure the content that we're putting out here at Convicted Mindset is real and raw, is authentic, and brings a ton of value. And so sometimes we have terrible lighting and terrible camera angles like I do right now. And sometimes the phone shakes because I'm standing in the middle of the airport. And this is what it's really like. And so these are the things I want to bring to you, real and raw and unfiltered and full of a ton of value. And so today, I want to make sure that you go with me on this journey. What we're doing today is we're purchasing another vehicle, another box truck to add to our logistics company that we run in the Midwest and in the South. We have 3 states in operation: Wisconsin, Tennessee, and Georgia. Our goal is to be the largest non-CDL trucking providers in those 3 states. And so if you're watching this and you're located in those 3 states, or you have a loved one or a friend who's located in those 3 states who's looking for a solid job 5 days a week, 6 days a week, 7 days a week, we have unlimited opportunity, okay? So reach out to us, convictedmindset.com. Reach out to me personally on Instagram. I am Travis Richey. Let me know that you're interested and we'll get you hooked up. But the purpose of this video today is to show you the nuts and the bolts of a day in the life of a real entrepreneur. I'm taking you right here from the 5 a.m. airplane all the way to the midnight when I land back at home tonight, and every step through how we purchased the truck, where we purchased the truck, why we purchased the truck in the particular ways that we do. I'm going to show you who the operator is, the individual who runs the company for us and is our boots on the ground and is also financially compensated to make sure this business venture goes well. All of these things come into account when you should be looking at scaling your time. I say this to people all the time that are formerly or currently incarcerated. You only have so many hours in the day, and the way to greatness is typically not through spending 40 hours a week working for somebody else for the next 40 years. But if you are working for somebody else right now, what steps are you taking to gain income in addition to what your W-2 or your 9 to 5 is? We have enough time in the day to hustle 5 to 9. You have enough resources at your fingertips in the phone, in the smartphones, in the laptops, in the computers, in the libraries, in the books. You have unlimited resources at your disposal right now for you to find alternative ways to make a living. And so I want to show you this video step by step how we're purchasing this truck and the money that we're going to make behind it. And I don't do this from an egotistical standpoint. This isn't a pat on my back. It's not something I actually even need. I want you guys to see that the road to success is not always paved with 4-year degrees. Even though I do have a college degree, I believe the tides have changed and you have so many opportunities out there. You've got trucking, you've got lineman college, you've got welding, you have fabrication. All of these industries can be picked up as a trade, as a tool. They can be picked up in 5, 6, 9, 10 months. In less than a year, you can be out there making 6 figures. Not some 9 to 5 job that's paying you hourly, whether you show up or not. So it's imperative that you get your mind right, get your money right, and level up. I'm going to show you how we do it today with this logistics and this trucking company.
Yeah.
Did you see the pictures?
You went yesterday and it was terrifying.
Yeah, I couldn't even pull it in there. There's people waiting in the middle of the highway and on the side. I was like, it's 3:30. I'm not gonna be able to get to this in time.
Let me get a pack of paper.
And then this is the same form, just our copy of it. And the one I want to highlight is
It was It was to the road today, but I was actually able to pull in.
One I want to highlight is this one right here. So we're going to mail you the title in 30 days. You just certified mail, so you're going to have to sign for it.
Okay.
If you sign for the title and you lose it, it's $250 to get a new title from the state.
Okay.
So just make sure you don't lose it when you sign for it. Don't open it with a letter opener either. Good. Tell that to everybody now, because the one guy had to take that slice it out in half.
Yeah, it is.
And the state did not accept his tape back together. That's title work, so.
Yeah.
And this one is the state application title. Again, that's the name and address it's being registered under.
Yeah, you're good for 60
Have you
days.
sign first?
So you'll get the title, it's usually about 2 weeks, but you'll have 60 days to go and pay your
Why the
taxes.
state decides to be different than everybody else. Flip-flop the signature at the end. That'd be it.
How much?
Hey guys, we are live in Denver, Colorado, and we have just purchased another 26-foot box truck with liftgate, non-CDL. You guys hear about this all the time. There is a trucking shortage in America. And if you are looking to invest, it is imperative that you look for things that will never go away. And it is imperative that you take an opportunity and seize it when you see it. We are talking tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, of truckers that are short in this industry. You cannot find any assets. It's very difficult to find these vehicles. And when you do, it's imperative that you strike. So Brandon and I are out here today. We just purchased this beautiful 26-foot box with a lift gate under CDL, so we can employ anybody and everybody who can drive a regular vehicle. We are looking to take this to the Midwest, where we have a trucking operation, and we've got several contracts where we'll put this truck in the fleet, and we're looking to buy hopefully 10 more this year. Wanted to give you guys a quick walk around here of this beauty. So this is a rebuilt box. It's a 26-foot box. And so when I say rebuilt, I mean the box is brand new. We had the box put on brand new, and we also had the lift gate put on brand new. For us, it was important to have a lift gate because these things being dock high with a lift gate, for what we do, the transportation that we do on a daily basis in and around the city, we do a lot of furniture and we do a lot of wrapped pallets. And so it was important for us to have this dock high aluminum lift gate so that our guys weren't getting beaten up every day, taking stuff in and out, up and down, off the ramp. This truck is beautiful. It's incredibly clean. It has only 140,000 miles on it, and a clean driving record, clean vehicle history. We expect this vehicle to last us 500,000 miles or more, and it should be on the road for years to come. Great purchase. We just filled up for some gas in order to take this thing cross country. The gentleman who runs the trucking company for us will be driving this across the country. The reason I'm showing this to you guys is oftentimes when you go into a business or you invest in a business, there's other ancillary costs that are associated with that business. For example, this truck behind us just took $100 in gas in order to fill up. And those are the types of things that you need to be aware of when you're investing. Sometimes people will come to you and say, hey, this is a $5,000 or a $10,000 or a $50,000 investment. But what are the other ancillary costs that need to be built into the deal? Those are the types of things that you need capital set aside for. Those are the types of things that you need an unexpected rainy day account for. And those are the types of things that will really sink or sail a good business. You really need to make sure that when you're buttoning up a business deal that all of the costs are allocated and all of the costs are accounted for, to make sure that you know how much it's going to cost and that you know how much money you actually need to have start to finish. All right, guys, I wanted to run you through some numbers here for the truck. This particular truck we purchased for $50,000. Purchased it with a cashier's check, as you saw earlier today. And in general, that investment is going to be paid back in about 15 months. And so the way that we set these types of investments up are as follows. This particular truck will have a 5-day-a-week contract on it, and will be able to produce somewhere in the neighborhood of $700 to $800 per day. If we have a driver, then we have a helper, then we have fuel. Those are the 3 fixed costs that we remove from that daily rate. From there, we have a couple other costs that we take out. We take a certain percentage out for future maintenance on the truck so that when something does go wrong, we don't have to come out of pocket for it. And we also take out a daily rate of insurance. These vehicles are very expensive to insure. They'll cost anywhere between $800 and $1,200 a month on insurance. After those expenses are taken out of the daily rate, you're left over with about $400 to $450 per truck on a daily basis. That is where we're going to be taking our money back and putting it back into our investment account through the LLC so that we can take this money and regenerate more trucks in the future. Keep in mind, as you're building these types of things, you want to make sure all of the expenses are covered up front. What we mean by that is you're going to have fuel costs to fill this bad boy up. We just filled it up. It was $100 to fill up a full tank. We had to fly in to pick the vehicle up. So we have airport, airline, car rental, all of these different costs that are associated with this particular investment, and they need to be realized. Oftentimes, I can't tell you how many times I've seen an investment or an investor deck that will tell you that this is the dollar amount that we're looking for, the dollar amount that we need to raise, and that dollar amount is off by 7 or 10 or 15%, and it's not in a good way wrong. So make sure that when you're factoring in these investments that you have some reserve capital or reserve credit so that you can use that in times like this, where a trip like this to pick the vehicle up and get the vehicle to where it needs to go is going to cost you a couple $1,000s before it ever makes you a nickel. These are the costs that could be unexpected if this is like a first deal for you. So make sure you pencil these out. The second thing is, when you're investing in a deal, make sure that you look at the jockey, not necessarily just the horse. When we look to get into the trucking industry, we realized there was an opportunity because the trucking shortage in America is not going to be going anywhere. It might even get worse in the next couple of years. Everybody is ordering from their house, Amazons and the Ubers, and so there's a lot of things that are being transported in the city, around the city, from ports to cities, and everything that comes in the city, as Hoffa said, comes on the back of a truck. And so when you're looking at the trucking industry, we saw it as a great opportunity. Then we had to narrow down what we really wanted to be involved with. Was it an over-the-road type of a situation? And for us, it was not an over-the-road. We wanted our guys to be home on a nightly basis, and we didn't want to have to employ people that only had CDLs. So the trucks that we purchase have a gross vehicle weight of less than 26,000 pounds. And so anybody who has a valid driver's license and a little bit of acumen can drive these vehicles around town. That opens us up to more possibilities and more contracts for these trucks and more opportunity for us to make our money back quicker. For us, the jockey in this particular investment is incredibly important. The gentleman who runs this company for us, his name is Ed. Ed is the type of guy that you want on the back of your horse to make sure that your investment thrives. He has skin in the game. He has an incentive to make sure that the trucks are on the road, because if the wheels aren't turning, none of us are earning. I stole that from Ed. And so for us, the jockey is incredibly important when we make investments in companies. Look at the track record of the individual. Do they have success in this industry? Are they the type of person that gets out of bed at 2 or 3 in the morning to resolve a problem? Are they themselves working in the industry for X amount of years? Do they have a track record of loyalty and integrity, not only to you, but to themselves? Are they the type of people that will show up every day and get shit done? That's what we look at when we're looking at an investment, and particularly in the jockey in that investment. We'll have more tips and tricks to follow. We'll show you the start to finish on this trucking process as it matures, and we're glad that you're here for the journey. Oh yeah, baby. We out here driving this rig. All right, guys. I'm here with Ed Hennings, also known as the Comeback Coach, the man, the myth, and the legend from Milwaukee. A couple of things that I want to make sure that you know about Ed that are special for me. Ed is a guy that I have watched be in the trenches for a number of years. He's a guy that I have looked up to to actually do the work. And so when Ed and I have these conversations one-on-one, and we get to travel the country and speak to individuals that are incarcerated, speak to individuals that are formerly incarcerated, the one thing that always comes to my mind about Ed is doing the work. And so I want him to take a little bit of time and explain to you what he's done, how long he's been home, and give you a little bit of hope about what's possible for you guys in terms of next steps.
Yeah, awesome. First of all, I would like to say it's an honor, and I'm extremely grateful to be coming in front of you guys and to offer any type of insight on how to transition from being in there to being successful out here. And I'm glad to say that I'm the owner of a Vision Universal trucking company, and now in partnership with Travis right here. So we got some big things coming up. We partnering together, but right now, I just want to say that your re-entry starts the moment you got arrested. Don't wait until 2 months, 3 months before you are released to start focusing in on your goals and what you want to do. One thing that I was able to do after serving 20 years in prison was my 20 years I worked on me. Before I went in, some of my energy, a lot of my energy went to the fellas in the hood. A lot of my energy went to family. A lot of my energy went to a lot of different things. But when I found myself sitting behind bars for 20 years, I used that energy on me. I used that energy to build the character, to build the work ethic, and build the focus that I needed to come out here and be successful. So while you're sitting there now, use this time. Use this time wisely. Use every moment you can to get better in a certain area of your life, whether it's your character, whether it's your work ethic. I cleaned up my room every day. It wasn't because I wanted to clean up the room. It's because I wanted to develop a routine, want to develop a habit of getting up every day and getting after it. And once that became a habit of mine, that carried over to when I came home. I made my thoughts only thoughts of positivity. I thought about positive things. I read positive books. I watched positive movies because I pumped so much positivity in my mind that when I walked out that door, that's exactly what I did. Positive things. So whatever that you are thinking about now, that's going to carry over to when you get out. You're not going to be able to hit a switch and cut it off. It's whatever you're dwelling on right now, whether it's getting back out, getting back home and getting with the fellas, getting back home, getting with your lady, getting back home, getting with your kids, getting back home and getting to a career or a business. Whatever you are thinking about, majority of your thoughts right now, that's 9 times out of 10 what's going to happen. So the old saying is, if you can't control your thoughts, you can't control what you do.
That's good. Ed, one of the questions I get all the time, and you'll be able to answer this much better than I did a very short period of time incarcerated. You did a very long period of time incarcerated. And so a lot of people will come to me and they'll say, man, I've got 10 years, I've got 12 years, I got 20 years. Why even worry about that now? Shouldn't I be just focused on being the baddest guy on the yard, the craziest dude right here? I got so long inside this cage. Why does it even make sense to work on me?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And that comes to mind, something that we talked about earlier. A friend of mine just asked me if we can correct an individual in prison, why can't we correct them before they get to prison? And being that those of us that wasn't corrected, or those of us that didn't make the right choices to stay out of prison, now that we're here, we need to take every waking moment. We need to not take this thing lightly. This is your life we're talking about. And if you start taking it seriously, you'll know that you'll need to use every year, every month, every week, every day, every second that you can to prepare yourself. It's no different than somebody, Michael Jordan, preparing to win the championship for the season. So you're practicing, you're creating habits, you create new thoughts, new perspectives. All these things, it's gonna take it. I promise you, it's gonna take every ounce. It's gonna take everything you got in you to make this change. And if you take it lightly, life will not take it lightly on you. So you have to go into this thing with the same aggression, with the same approach that it took to get you in there. Because there's a lot of bad dudes that's looking at this right now. You got to be just as bad when it comes to you making that change. You got to be just as aggressive as it's going to take for you to, get after it and make the changes you need to make in your life. And you can do it. Because I've seen even myself put a lot of energy, time, and effort into getting in there. It wasn't, I just slipped on the banana peel. I put a lot of work in to get in prison. So if I could change that and put that same work ethic and hustle into staying out, I got it made. And that's the mindset that I took on for myself. I said, if I go hard the way I went hard to get in here, man, if I go hard the opposite direction, I'm unstoppable. So the last 5 years, I've been going hard in the opposite direction, man. And you'll see the results.
You will, big time. One of the stories I want you to share with everybody that I'm well aware of, I want to make sure everybody else is oftentimes when you're paying attention to the environment that's around you, you start to see opportunities in the form of obstacles. One of the things that Ed and I are partnered on now is this logistics company. We know that there are tens of thousands of trucking jobs that we're short in America. And so that gives us a big opportunity to fill that void. We know, as Jimmy Hoffa once said, everything that comes into a city comes on the back of a truck. So we want to make sure that we have those trucks available. We want to make sure that we have the ability to capitalize on what some would call an obstacle. And so I want to relay the story. I want you to relay the story, Ed, of when you were in the barber shop and you met that gentleman who had the trucking company.
Yes. I had while I was in prison, I obtained barber and cosmetology license. And when I came home, my mission was to open up a barber and beauty salon. I was able to achieve that, man. I started out making $7.25 an hour, man, and I was just grinding, saving every little nickel I could. And I was able to open that barbershop and beauty salon. And shortly after opening it up, maybe about 3 months, one of my clients came in and told me about a truck that he had bought. And he told me the numbers. And we hustlers, right? So we listen to those numbers and we like, man, I wish you'd have told me this before I put all my time into this barbershop thing, But, all in all, by the time he came back and got his next haircut, man, I had went and bought me a truck, $7,500. It wasn't the prettiest truck, but it ran good. And man, I started working. I faced some obstacles early on because I had a record and stuff like that. But like I said, man, when you get on this grind and you come with the same aggression, you're gonna refuse to be denied, man. And I got started and I was delivering furniture and the thing worked for me, man. And I've been doing it ever since. And it's one of the best business decisions I made since I've been an entrepreneur.
Beautiful. There's a couple things I want to point out about that story. Number one, Ed took a risk. When we just went to dinner and the conversation that we shared was guys like us, guys that have treaded deep waters, like some of the situations that you are in or maybe getting out of right now, we view risk differently. Ed did thousands and thousands and thousands of hours incarcerated. So for him to take $7,500, that's not a risk any longer. That's a reward and an opportunity for some hard work. The second thing I want to point out is he was really, really frugal with his money. When you're talking about working at the barber shop, and I say this to all the time, if you've just got released, if you've just got down, that ego that tells you that you're too good to do something, to mop the floors, to clean the kitchen, to be the errand boy, that ego is something that could probably keep you away from where you know you need to go or to be destined for greatness. And so the fact that Ed had enough money set aside to go out and be able to buy that truck at $7,500 speaks volumes to me as an individual who is now investing with him. So Ed, the last point, I want you to really take these guys through your day-to-day, and not in terms of what you do, but in terms of financially. So many of these guys that are out there, the road to success is no longer paved with 4-year degrees. The road to success is built on the grind and the hustle and a little bit of backbone to find something that you can really dive into and that you can really capitalize on. And that's what you've done in the trucking industry. So share with these guys some of the numbers, which is always important because we all love to make a ton of money.
Yeah.
Share with these cats what it is like as an owner-operator of a logistics company.
Yeah, once again, just starting grassroots, just being cut and dry, something that we all can understand. No bells and whistles, no gimmicks, just straight grind, right? So here we are saying, I got a truck. I just bought my first truck. They say, well, if you could do a route, we'll pay you $750 for a route. And I'm saying, okay, wow, $750 a day? That is good money. Okay, so now you talk about having a helper. You have to pay your helper. You have to do gas. You have to do maintenance. And then you have to do insurance. So you subtracting all of that. So you losing half of your money. So just say if you're getting paid $750 base pay and you do a route and you make $750 a day, you're still going to walk away with maybe half of that. You're going to walk away with $350, $400 after you do your overhead. So that's simple math for individuals like us. That's simple math that you learn on the block. That's simple math you learn doing anything you're doing, any side hustle, anything. And it sounded very enticing and very simple for me because I look at business as simplistic. It's the KISS method. Keep it simple. They say stupid. But the KISS method is some method that I carry with me. When it get complicated, you turn me off. But when you give me simple numbers and you say, okay, I'm going to make $1,000 today and I can subtract what I got to pay everybody minus fuel and I can see those numbers, then you got me. It's sold. I'm sold. So that's what the trucking business did for me. I was able to see without any bells and whistles. I was able to lay it on the table. This is what I get. This is what I have to pay out. And this is what I'll end up with on a daily basis. And once I did the math with my fingers, I said, this is the business for me.
How many trucks can I get a hold of?
Exactly.
So the question that we often come across from individuals who want to get started is they say, how hard is it to find these contracts? And I want to stop you if you're thinking on along those lines. The word hard shouldn't be in your vocabulary. Hard is sitting in a 5x7. Hard is sitting in a 10x14. Hard is not being able to see your wife and your siblings and your loved ones. That's hard. And so I want to make sure that you understand entrepreneur mindset is difficult. It's lonely. Ed and I are in a hotel room right now, thousands of miles away from our families. It's going to be midnight before I get home. It was 4 a.m. when he left after 4-hour delays. And all of this stuff combined is still so exciting to us because of the opportunity and the potential that I talked about at the beginning of this. And so I want to make sure you guys realize that this is what the day-to-day is. The day-to-day is going on the road, looking at opportunities, doing math on the back of a napkin. It doesn't have to be fancy or sexy or sophisticated. It just has to be honest and legal and true to the core of who you are. And that's really what I want to impress on you guys. This is an opportunity that you can get into, that you can get one truck, build on it, get someone to run that truck, get another truck that you're running, and you can make 6 figures a year as a felon with a record. So this is a platform for you to literally take step by step. How do I do this? And so if that's the type of stuff that you're looking for, if you want to get started, if you're in the Midwest or the South, you're going to want to reach out to Ed and learn more about it and the things that he does. How can they reach out to you, Ed?
Man, just first of all, social media handles. Everybody's on social media these days. So you got Ed Hennings on Instagram and you got Ed Hennings on Facebook. Also, my website is edhennings.com. So it's very simple, nothing complicated. Once again, try to keep it simple for everybody, especially for myself. And just find Ed Hennings wherever you can, man. And we're going to chop it up and we're going to bless the streets with more of this trucking game.
Beautiful. We'll see you guys soon.